You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but it's not limited to, the man that said he's going to whoop Blez's ass and hold him today. What is poppin', Berk?
I regret those statements.
Did you really say that? It was a little out of context.
It was way out of context.
When I saw that, I was like, yeah, like
yep, we're snipping that.
You're creating your own narrative.
Yeah, no, that's Poker News doing Poker News-esque things.
I thought the quote was from him.
No,
Well,
it's
half PLO, half Hold'em, right?
yeah,
Okay.
It was from the podcast. This is what makes it even worse is that it was written. Can you turn my brightness down while you're up?
You look bright.
Yeah, my light is fire. This is what makes it worse. Not that anybody was like reading articles, I guess. Are you doing anything?
Now you're dark.
Oh, interesting. Go ahead, turn it on. No. Like you can turn it on more. I don't think it's that is what I'm getting at. It's not. This is all me. This is completely my fault. There, it's all fixed. I did all of that, Guapo. It was not your doing, and I apologize profusely.
Oh my God, he said sorry.
Wait, no, it's all Guapo's doing.
No. This was me. This was my side monitor. It was lighting my face up like a Christmas tree.
Apparently it's snowing in hell right now.
Right. Right. So
Two
thankfully,
words that you never thought you could say.
Thankfully, nobody. I say I'm sorry all the time. You guys just think it's disingenuous. There's a difference.
Wait, we
Well,
think it
they
is,
think
or
it is, or it is.
there's a touch of it?
I don't know,
decide,
man. I think he likes to interpret my speech sometimes, so we interpret your speech.
This doesn't always have to be about how Landon got slighted.
I'm
okay?
sorry. I'm sorry.
There's a running theme of like Landon being victimized by the group chat. It's
No
like
victiming. No victiming going on.
I almost left you on red for an entire fucking day.
It's true. He said it to me.
I sent Conrad a screenshot of our back and forth, and I go, "How long should I leave him on red for?" I send Landon. I text Landon. I go, "I think I just witnessed like a pretty big mistake in my game or whatever."
It's funny. I thought
and
you were
he
doing
just
this.
snap responds and goes, "I can't fucking take it anymore, man. I had to say something." And I'm like,
About something completely different.
totally off topic, like just ranting about his own thing, and I just like left it there. And I'm like,
I knew what you were doing.
I don't know how long I'm gonna do this.
What do you mean?
was
What
he
he's
doing?
doing? What you were doing?
I knew what I was doing, and I knew what he was doing in response to what I was
Wait,
doing.
but what did he?
What were both of you doing?
We were talking past each other, but I was talking past him.
That's one way to put it.
That's what happened.
I initiated a conversation with Landon, and he took it as an opportunity to trauma dump on me.
It's so good. It's a running bit though. It is true.
But anyway, back to the Blez. Last week when I announced that I was playing him, I tongue-in-cheek said I'm gonna whip his ass in Hold'em, but I also said it with the caveat that I'm drawing dead in PLO. Like he's very good at the game, and I truly don't know how it works. And just like watching some of his heads-up play, that's abundantly clear. Like I'm just sitting there going, well, I would have not done that. I would have not done that.
This isn't a real beef until you guys go nose to nose in Bobby's room.
That's not going to happen. This was never beef. But
I
anyway,
know.
Blez is a
It was
gangster.
joke.
He ain't
Of course, it's
fucking with
not
him.
beef.
anyway, the article was written, and like the tagline or the headline of the article was Berkey says he's gonna mop the floor with Blez and Hold'em or something like that.
Right.
Who
I
posted,
saw it.
who
and I was
posted this
just-
article?
Obviously, Poker News.
I had to
like,
read it twice to
they
make
love
sure it was like, wait, did Berkey really say that? And then I'm just like,
No.
there's no way he said that. And if he did, like,
There was
It had
something
to have been
behind
tongue-in-cheek,
it. Yeah,
like
there
you
was
said.
something behind it.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm gonna beat him and hold him.
Right.
But
He
he's gonna
doesn't talk
fucking
like
kill
that.
me in PLO.
I know what I'm getting myself into. By the way, I'm just scrolling through my mentions right now, and there's just a freeze frame of Lamanna like this.
I know. I know. Believe me, I've been tagged.
It's so.
What are we running here?
It's
What do I
unbelievable.
miss to go Twitter? I haven't been
What
there.
kind of
God.
operation is this?
I'm sitting on my hands for the rest of the duration of however long this podcast lasts.
Your hands don't go out to them?
Oh man, I'm seeing if I can. Okay, so I have the article. I'll send it to you, Guap. So I want to. I don't want to misquote anything. So I'll pull up the article and actually say what it says. So the title is "I'm gonna bury his ass in hold'em." Berkey versus Bleznick heads-up match set.
Berries.
Which I probably did say, but again, I said it kind of in passing, tongue in cheek.
Right.
And they link the episode, but they obviously like don't. You know, it would do a lot more heavy lifting to just.
They didn't pick a good picture of you, man.
Of course not. None of the pictures of me are ever going to be good. I photograph like a goddamn mutant. But
You look decrepit.
nobody's gonna go back and watch the actual quote. Is my point. So it's just like completely taken out of context, and there's no level of making it clear that I was joking.
Right.
And that's just the whole article. That's just it. It's like we're gonna play heads up, and I'm wildly overconfident.
Right.
He did say, or I guess he did add in. This just makes it worse. A little bit of context where I led with, if I can hold my own in PLO, run somewhat okay, then I'm going to bury his ass and hold him. And then I followed up with, he knows it too. Which, to be fair, like I do think I'm a favorite in Hold'em, but brushing up a little bit on heads up, which I haven't looked at anything heads up since Airball ended, almost 2 years ago. Man, I forgot everything.
In 2 years?
Close. Couple months away.
Yeah.
It was like April of 22.
Yeah.
Timeline moves fast.
No, sorry, April of 23.
23.
Yeah.
It's 25 though.
Yeah. It's 20. Wow.
Matt, I haven't had a chance to read this article. Is it, what's the setup? Is it cash? Is it tournament style? Like, is it a heads up sit and go?
2 days cash, 200, 400, 100K min. We're going to play half the day PLO, half the day Hold'em. And when the games switch, you have the option to go south if you like. Which when it comes to PLO, I would like.
Yeah.
Assuming that I'm
So we have
winning,
something to go south on?
Yeah, I have something in front of me to go south
Well,
on.
apparently you're gonna mop his ass up, so you know.
I have to tell you, man, I'm really fucking rusty.
Didn't you play against him during COVID?
Yeah, but I didn't know heads up then. So I was beating him off the back of like applying ring strategy to heads up. So I was probably like way too tight in most situations, but I just remember he did a couple of things, and granted, like we were on the tail end of like a 12-hour session and he was clearly buried and tilting. But I just remember he did a couple of things where it was like he was just putting in way too much fucking money too early in the hand with like something that didn't justify it. And I was able to identify that in real time, and it was going to be hard for him to beat me, basically, without like getting good card distribution. Now, I hope that still applies today, but I know a lot more about heads up now than I did 3.5, 4 years ago when we were actually playing.
Oh, so you're drawing dead.
Right. It truly might be hurting me in this instance.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because like now I'm just 3-betting the King 5-0.
It's over, buddy.
And it's like that wasn't even on the table
Yep.
when I was playing him before. You know, it's like we're just in there like, I rolled high. Which, by the way, I know we've had this debate before. Are you a low or high guy when it comes to aggression, Landon?
What do you think?
I think you're high.
That-
I'm low. And
Go with Sam. You belong together.
Well, I think it's pretty logical. I've only ever done this when practicing heads up, but I think it's logical because it's the lowest frequency,
That
right?
makes sense
Like
to me,
if you're 3-betting King 5 15% of the time, why would I ever roll high?
it's like a speedometer. You know, you go really fast. So if you roll a 99, you're zooming.
But it's just easy when I know it's 1 through 15.
Speaking of
I know
zooming,
it's
this is a
easy, but it's
zoomer.
85 to 100.
This is a zoomer thing.
Yeah, but then I have to convert.
Just think it like you're driving.
No,
It's ironic that he keeps using fucking driving terminology. The kid has never fucking drove.
I'm not even sure he's driven on a fucking
Or it's like-
on a video game before.
Or it's like
go-kart.
I have actually.
yeah, we got to get you a simulator.
Art Papazian had a driving simulator
Hell
in
yeah,
his house,
brother.
and I would use that. But it's like dice, like the higher you roll, the more likely you win.
Another thing he'd never done.
No, yeah, I don't know how to use dice. For me, it's just a 1-to-1 conversion.
Yeah, I get it. Like I get the idea as to why like 1 to 15 should be the correct way, but at this point, it's out of spite.
Right, but
So I'm not
I
changing
think
it.
the more common thing though is high
I
as
think
aggression.
it's low.
Really?
I think it's low.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
So
most
you're just a
people are-
ravager.
I'm gonna make a poll.
You're just a ravager. That's what it comes down
I am
to.
a ravager.
Just-
I ravaged the Uber share
You're
this
just
morning.
a spicy meat. Yeah. All right. We got to get.
I did it simply for the podcast.
We got to let everybody know this. Okay. So first of all, great news. I'd like to update everybody. The Tesla has left my building. It's no longer parked
True.
in the spare space.
You didn't
to
like
the
that
side.
red boulder just sitting outside your house?
The thing was,
It's pretty.
it wasn't
boulder.
even in the driveway. It was in this like lead up to RV parking in front of a gate that is just still dirt, and
Nobody
I got to do
uses
something.
it.
Yeah, but I got to do something with it
When do you need to do that?
soon.
My car is the same as your backyard.
You know
Yeah,
what?
but it was an ornament.
He said, yeah, he agrees.
Berkey,
He's right.
Give me 2 months. I'll have your whole casita. I'll have the whole backyard done.
Oh, Conrad's
Let
going to
me-
do your...
let me
He's
be.
going to build a tiny house, too.
Let me be.
He doesn't have to do any of those things. All we need is to hear back from. Actually, what I should do is have you reach out to other contractors.
Okay.
Because right now I'm just talking with one guy that I vetted properly, and I think he's a good guy to go with. But it's been 3 weeks, and I haven't heard from him.
He's
Too
ghosted
long.
you.
Too long.
Yeah, he's busy.
What the fuck just happened?
A lot of white noise. Don't worry about it. So anyway, Landon is taking strides into getting this money pit on the road, which is great news. However, in order to pay for it, he has decided that this is incredible, by the way. Okay, so good news is
my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
good news is the garbage cans were already this way. Nobody actually like physically got out and moved them.
No,
right?
no, no.
Okay, reference. I
Stop
have another
Stop
poll
it.
that I want to.
Stop
Okay.
it.
So in order to pay for what we just witnessed here, that boulder getting shipped off and fixed, Landon decided he needs to start saving on Ubers. And
I just wanted, you know what? No,
if you want to
let's
fill
just-
us in
let's
on,
just, hold on,
on the
let's start
lore
somewhere.
here.
So the lore is like in a PokerGo 10K, Mr. Final Tableist of the main event, Joe C-Rock, aka Flows, was saying that
Flows knows.
Flows knows. That's what I'm saying. Flows knows. So we talked about Uber share. Like 80% of the time, you don't get in a car with somebody else. So 20% of the time, you do.
Okay.
So the first time,
an
I was like, you know
80-20.
what? Like, it's like a $3 difference. Honestly, it's like 10%, 20% difference from when I contracted something in the car. No, I'm joking. A difference between just taking it yourself versus Uber sharing. And the first time I Uber shared, it was just like $3 off, and no one was in the car. So I just came here, no problems. I tried it again. I was like, yeah, $3, like that's fine. Like, not really in much of a rush. And then my ride is going, and then this is like, you need to pick up, let's call him Carlos. You gotta pick up Carlos. I'm like, oh, like that hasn't happened before.
Not in Trump's America, buddy.
Wow. That
You're on board for a long fucking drive.
yeah, so then that happened, and I'm pretty sure it was in the opposite direction of where I was supposed to go. And then
They don't even like coordinate.
I think they're supposed to,
Right.
but like I was supposed to get to the office at 11:50 and I got here at 12:05 and his was 10 minutes. So might
Right.
have been the other way, but close enough. They probably has like a little close enough section.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned not to do that again.
Do you know how much you spend on Ubers a month on average?
No. But it's not
I
very
go
much.
ballpark it.
It's not what?
It's not that much.
If you had to ballpark it.
Let's say it's 500.
I'd say around there, maybe.
Jesus
I would say-
Maybe.
Christ.
No,
I would
it's
say
funny.
if
Like,
there's poker, that's
so
way more
it's
than that.
equivalent to owning a car.
Yeah, it's
right.
close.
When you figure
Right,
payment,
but you have
gas, insurance,
but you don't have to pay a chauffeur.
you don't have to pay a chauffeur. You can just get it and go.
I'm saying he gets a chauffeur
right.
for free.
I get to watch my
Right.
memes on my phone. I get to interact with the group
tacked on
chat.
for free.
Yeah,
It's a pretty nice deal.
it's not bad.
Well, also, like, let's think about it. Like, I don't really go many places. If I go to the casino during a series, like for PokerGo stuff, it's like $40 to get there and back to the house.
Okay.
So if I'm
$40
playing,
round trip.
correct,
$200 a week.
right? But I'm only playing for 6 days,
Yeah.
so that would be $200. And coming here, I just go with you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't really leave my house very often.
Sure.
So it's not like I'm spending that much money.
Yeah,
you know,
get to
I
be
just
a passenger
Uber,
princess with the wife.
I just princess a lot. You
Right,
know,
but okay, so that's what makes this worse, right? So like, let's say you save $50 a month. I was trying to calculate.
oh, you're talking about for the if I always use shares.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I've never used. This is the second time I've done it. It's the last time. I've learned very quickly that $3 is not worth it. You know.
Well, yeah, because like that $50 that you're saving on the gamble that 20% of the time you're gonna have to go out of your way and share the company
Of somebody
of the
else,
ride
you have
with
no
somebody else,
idea who
which
they
is
are.
already bad enough with the Uber driver himself. Like I already pay extra to put mine on the comfort quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I literally pay.
Can you explain what this is? I don't know what this
There's
is.
different settings of Ubers. Like you can get like comfort or like XL, like
Yeah.
bigger ones.
So you pay like an extra $4 for comfort, and you can set the temperature and whether or not your Uber driver talks.
Yeah.
So you can pay extra to tell the guy not to talk to
Correct.
you.
Right.
The best part
No
about it is,
shit.
the real question is, Berkey, how much would you honestly pay markup on your Uber drive for those settings?
I was trying to determine if it was 1, 0, or 2.
as opposed to like just getting in the car and being like, hey man, like I gotta take a call. Like I can't talk, and the guy would just never talk to you.
I've done that before. It's
got to work. It doesn't not work.
no, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Most people don't just like you don't know when you get in, right? Like there's plenty of drivers that have no desire to talk to you whatsoever, and they just say hello, Matthew, and do you want a drink? And then no, and then you're good, right?
That's most of them.
That's most. But then
80%.
Then you get like
Chatty Cathy.
yeah, chatty Cathy or talkative Tommy. And now you're 5 minutes in, and they slowly ease you in, right? It's like, well, where are you from? It's like, oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh man, Steelers fan, huh? It's like, yeah. I got an uncle down in Florida. He's got a Steelers bar. It's like, oh
Why are you
yeah,
talking to my dad like
that's
that?
great.
What do you do for a living? Oh, I play. Oh wait, no, don't say that. Don't say it. Poker.
Exactly.
Oh, I've played poker before. Do you bluff?
Right. So now you're on the worst first date that you could ever imagine. That's never going to lead to any payoff, and there's no way out because like just randomly now saying like, oh buddy, I got to take a call. It's going to be pretty fucking clear to him that you just are doing this.
No, here's what you do: you put your headphones on, and then or earbuds, and then just be like, "Oh, I'm on a Zoom call. I'm in a Zoom meeting."
Right.
Right. So
I
it's just
have
like,
found
right,
when
because
I
then
used
you
to
don't have
fly
to
to
talk.
when I used to fly to LA a bunch to play the streams, I would just get into the Uber already wearing my headphones.
There you go. Yeah.
And then I would try to, use my reading ability to kind of size up the situation.
Right.
And if I thought at all they were going to initiate conversation, I would just be like, I'm on a call. Sorry. That would just be that.
Yeah.
The other thing I feel uncomfortable about, but I think I need to get comfortable with, especially like I said, when I was going to LA from, if I would fly to Burbank to the bike would be like a 45-minute drive, sometimes longer with traffic. I need to get comfortable sleeping and just like entrusting that
They're not going to kill you.
You're not gonna wake up somewhere where you don't
I'm
want
not
to
going
be.
to wake up in the middle of the fucking desert with a gun to my head.
Yeah.
And
Right. I mean, you're pretty safe.
Knocking out an Uber's normally what I do actually when it's a long Uber.
yeah.
All that stuff's pretty tracked. right?
I feel like there are certain codes to driving, like
I wonder how much money they actually make.
not
Not a lot.
not a lot.
Not a lot.
You
There's
talking
been a lot of studies
Uber
done.
drivers?
Yeah.
Uber
and they're all
going to
lose their jobs probably.
Their hourlies are really
in
bad.
like a few years, everything's going to be
Yeah,
automatic
Waymo.
drivers.
They already have
yeah.
them in LA. They already
Right.
have the driverless cars.
Yeah.
I know Andre uses them all the time.
When you weigh in like car maintenance and stuff like that, they don't make much at all.
Right. You have to factor in like gas, maintenance.
Is the idea that like people that do this also have other things going on that they need to be in the car for?
I'm not
like
sure.
Some
No,
people do
no, no,
Ubers
no.
and Uber Eats, and it
Yeah.
like works out. That kind of like Ubers and DoorDash kind of thing.
Well, I
Maybe.
think they just do that so they're making sure they're always working.
Right.
Always getting a call.
Right, because you have to understand that there's a cost to every mile that you drive.
Right.
And for every mile that you're driving that isn't being compensated for, that cost now goes up.
Right.
Right. So the higher the cost per mile driven, the less the more overhead and the less return on your time you're going to get. So it's kind of a brutal. I mean, I think initially when it was first launched, they were very generous to the drivers.
Because Ubers get many dollars from like the pricing that they choose for
The
rides.
surge pricings, yeah,
Like,
sure. I think for the
what is-
drivers,
yeah.
a lot of it just comes
I
from
wonder
tipping.
what Uber's like the company is going to do to like adapt to this new
Probably have
basic
their own driverless
technology and
cars.
situation.
You're gonna buy
I would
Waymo.
think that
They
they would
just-
just pivot and buy
yeah.
cars that are automated, right?
They'll just buy one of the companies. Just gonna buy out a
Maybe, or
company,
yeah,
probably.
or maybe the other
Or
way
Tesla
around.
buys Uber.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. I was thinking they'd get absorbed by like someone like Tesla, and then Tesla.
I
just
think
use their technology.
I think they have a partnership with Tesla where
There's a lot of Uber drivers with Model 3s and
I
stuff.
think if you become an Uber driver, you can like lease a Tesla, like Tesla fleets or whatever,
That would make a lot of sense.
in order to
I think they do
lower
this.
the cost of
There's a
maintenance.
lot of Uber drivers that drive Teslas, and if you're making it seem like you don't make much money driving,
Yeah, and you
Uber,
could. I
it's
think you can drive XL with Teslas
Yes.
as well.
like around $20 an hour. Other jobs you can kind of
That
pick
range
up.
is huge though. The 13 is like brutal.
I guess 13 is like if you're not grinding really hard, and the 27 is like if you're DoorDashing.
It's
Like
remember
surge
it's the
charges and
efficiency.
stuff,
It's the
right?
efficiency
Yeah.
per mile.
There was one
Is
time.
that minus all your overhead, all your costs?
I
and everything?
assume so.
Yeah.
There was one time when I got an Uber to the office, and where I was, obviously like super nice lady was just like, hey, like I think this is too far, like the amount of miles, the amount of dollars I'm getting, like I'm gonna have to cancel. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, like no problem. And I'm just like, yeah, that kind of sucks. Not for me, I can just get a new driver, but for her, where it's like it's very important, like dollars per mile. I
You just have
suppose.
to like in those situations if that ride is important, you just have to like tip up front.
Yeah.
Because I've had that happen where I believe I was staying in like Park City and I didn't get a rental. So I had to Uber all the way back to Salt Lake City for the airport. And Park City doesn't like have much in the way of Ubers, if anything at all. A lot of these ski towns don't even have Uber.
Which is wild.
So I can't remember. I either had to like order an Uber from outside of the town and coerce them to coming in and getting me, or a car,
Coerce
like a
them.
ride share type thing, or car service or whatever. But I remember I had to negotiate with them, and I ended up like massively overpaying. Like basically, they came and were like, "Actually, the price is this," and it was like double what I had agreed upon, or whatever, or double what the app was, whatever. And it was
Which
just
is
like,
funny because if
what
it
am I gonna
was
do?
on the app for that price, you'd be like, this sucks, but what else can I do?
Yeah, of course. So it's like they could just keep doing that. But I think that's what it was. I think I booked it through Uber, and he came and he's like, "Actually, man, I can't justifiably go to Salt Lake City, so I'm gonna have to cancel on you." And I'm like, "No, like I'm gonna miss my flight." And he's like, "Well, for an extra $100."
Right.
And it's like, "Yeah, buddy, okay."
There's a lot
you
of
got it."
scams or like just like hustles that Uber drivers do outside of Vegas mostly. I've never really seen it in Vegas, but like
The small towns where there's a lot less traffic.
yeah,
they
like
need to
they will
hustle.
pull up and cancel that motherfucker and be like, "Ooh, Uber canceled it," and you're like, "What? What do you mean Uber cancel? I just watched you do it as I got in the car. Like I will
actually-
fight you right now."
This actually happened. This happened to me in Florida when I went, landed from Vegas to Florida. I was going back to my parents' house, and he was like, "Yeah, like it just like canceled, but like whatever the price was for the Uber, you can just pay me." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, sure." And I guess like he gets to keep all of it versus
Right.
It's
Uber
just a
taking
scam.
some.
It's just a scam against Uber,
I think
basically, because Uber takes like 30 to.
I kind of
40%.
messed up
Yeah.
where I probably like not messed up because like the price was what the price was, but I'm pretty sure I could have said any number like
yeah,
reasonable,
of course. They'll take a discount there because
and they would just be like, "Yeah, that's fine."
the thing is like it's not about the cost for the consumer. because that's going to be relatively flat, and you don't care if it's going directly to the person or to Uber or whatever. It's the issue becomes the safety mechanism.
I was just about to say now you're not tracked.
Now you're offline.
Right,
yeah.
now you're offline. Right, now that they take you to the desert.
Right.
that was the first
Yes.
thought that always goes through my mind. It's like, well, do I have any cash on me? Is this man about to kill me?
I
What's
had
about
a
to go
weird thing
on?
happen. I had a weird thing happen to me in Florida that I was just like too tired and like wasn't paying enough attention and just kind of ended up agreeing to a bunch of dumb things. I get like people are just like, how could she be so stupid to put herself in? I get it.
Yeah.
You're an
It
agreeable.
only takes one.
Yeah,
one
you're
slip
just
up,
an
you know?
agreeable person
Yeah.
where like something doesn't seem that unreasonable because like you're just not thinking clearly or
Right,
whatever.
right.
And the next thing you know, you're in a fucking basement with your hands tied up.
Right.
Whoa.
I flew to Florida on the red eye to play the main event. This must have been like 3 or 4 years ago. And I landed at like 7 a.m. and I had a Turo set up to be dropped off at the airport so I could just get in and go. Because I don't know if any of you have been to Fort Lauderdale, but like the rental car situation there is a goddamn nightmare.
I've been many times. I just don't know.
If you don't fly in specifically through Southwest, which Southwest no longer flies Vegas to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale,
Really?
you have to like shuttle around because Southwest is the only terminal that directly connects to the
rental place?
the rental fleet. So then you have to like shuttle around, and then you go and you wait in all these fucking lines, and it's just a nightmare. So I just decided I'm never renting a car from the airport again. So I just do Turo, or I get hooked up by my guy at Ferrari. Shout out to my man.
Shout to the guy.
To the guy.
I'm not gonna put him on blast, but I appreciate you, man.
Shout out to bro. Thank you, bro.
Thank you for the Ferraris. So this time I book a Turo and it's supposed to be dropped off at the airport. You know, I'm like texting him back and forth, like, you know, where do I go? He's like, just go to valet. I'm like, okay. So I'm expecting the car to just be there and then I'm gonna pick it up. I've done this before in Pittsburgh. Usually they just like leave the keys in the car somewhere in the lot. You pick it up and there's like a few bucks in there to pay for parking. It's like, okay, great. So I go and he's just there in the car. I'm like,
Oh yeah, this is funny.
so I just assume
That's not supposed to
reasonably,
happen.
I just assume reasonably that
He's gonna get out of the car?
get out of the car and get an Uber. He goes, hop in, and I'm like, what? He's like, hop in, and I think he's saying like, you know, drive me to the Uber,
Just hop right in.
like drive me to the rideshare because the rideshare isn't everywhere. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like yeah, whatever. He's just gonna, you know, drive to the rideshare and then we're gonna swap up. Motherfucker just leaves the airport. I'm like, where are we going? He goes, oh, my house. It's like 5 minutes away. 35 minutes later, we're just outside of Miami. And he's like, I'm like right around the corner in this community. I'm just like, I'm texting the group the whole time. I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm sharing my location. I'm like, just let people know that like I'm probably not coming back. But to track my phone, and the guy's name is Robert, like, it seems as though he lives near Miami based off of the trajectory of where we're headed. Send the search party.
Jeez.
I would assume through Turo there's like a protocol, like where it's supposed to probably just be dropped off.
That is absolutely not okay what he did.
Yeah. So I guess
He turned out to be like some 25-year-old kid who was just starting like a Turo fleet. He's like, yeah, my uncle owns a dealership, so he gives me like a dozen cars and I rent them out on Turo. And I look at him and I go, this isn't the way. Yeah. Like, I'm dog tired. Outside of everything else, it's like, you've just inconvenienced me 30 minutes to your place and then 30 minutes back. Brother, I haven't slept in 12 hours and I have a tournament in 4.
Yeah, so the way that it's supposed to work is that they're supposed to be in a different car. They leave the keys in the car. They see you take the pictures of the car. And then you get in your car with the keys in it and them not in it as well.
Correct.
And then they leave and then you get your car.
Imagine, I was just trying to duck the fucking rental line and I ended up an hour and 10 minutes out of my way. I'm so fucking mad.
Anybody belonging to that traffic wise?
You didn't
picked the wrong time in Miami. You're fucked.
You didn't want to stop at Sally Beauty?
No,
Jesus Christ.
May as well. But I did go deep in the main. That was the time where I yeeted it with threes versus
love threes.
Versus
Caldo. You had like 11 bigs. You didn't yeet threes.
I yeeted threes for 11 and he fucking
You had 11 bigs in the low jack. I remember this.
Yeah, and he rejammed from the small blind, covered by Elias in the big blind nonetheless for like 90 blinds.
Oh, he wow.
He rejammed
like
ace-5 suited.
It was ace-5?
Ace-5 suited. Yikes. Fucking motherfucker.
Love Caldo.
What a legend.
But then I got second in the 5K, so it was okay.
You mean the 30K?
Yes, I did mean
30K.
I literally cashed for 36,000 I cashed for 36,000 in the main, and then I put 30K into the 5K.
Oh my gosh, I remember. Yes.
And then I was lucky enough to get 170. So it all worked out. We made 200K. Did I cut you off? Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
Oh, but I made a poll while you were talking.
How we
Most
doing?
people are high rollers.
Yeah, that was my guess. But honestly,
Interesting.
most of your followers are probably Ravagers.
Right, all the Ravagers. Jesse Lonis said, "This ain't for
course
me,
he's
man.
high.
I got kids to feed."
Right, he ain't rolling.
I
He
had
ain't
to take
rolling.
down my poll, put out a new poll that said high, low, third option. I have kids to feed, so no randomization.
That's a good one.
Excellent choice.
I like that.
Very well done, young man. Very
Well, it wasn't
You're
my
learning
option.
the
It
streets.
was. Thank you, Johnny. Different
Yeah, for what it's worth, I just answered your poll, and I also clicked kids to feed, no randomize.
dogs. Kids, dogs.
I mean, if I'm only rolling when I study, am I really rolling?
Kind of, because I think in your head when you play, you're thinking, "Oh, this should happen sometimes," and then you have the autonomy to decide if this is the time to do it or not.
Yes, it's true. It's 100% true.
So you are kind of rolling.
Here's how the randomizer in my head works. Okay, I'll be right out front with it. Okay, so first of all, am I running good? If yes, aggressive. Okay. Secondary thing, have I been caught bluffing recently? If yes, passive.
Right.
And then thirdly, if all things are neutral and nothing has really occurred yet, is this the first time I've been given this opportunity? And if the answer is yes, aggressive.
You're missing the number one.
Go ahead.
What the fuck does this guy look like? If it's fuck his face, it's aggressive.
Man. I had one of those yesterday at the Bellagio. So there's this guy who
There's
plays.
only 7 other people at the table. You know that, right?
There's this guy who plays. He comes into town. He's a big high roller, and he always sits with like 400,000, but like not a crumb of it is fucking in play.
Okay.
And he's like an older guy, and he'll point to all the dudes on the wall and be like, "I played every one of them heads up. They all backed down from me." And I'm thinking like, okay, so you played them in like 200, 400 limit hold'em or some shit back in the glory days. And then he goes on to be like, "Oh yeah, you know, like I'll take on anyone in the world." I'm thinking like, I got time.
I got time today.
Time today.
I got
your
time
ass.
So I don't really play with emotion all that often, but nits really fucking get to me. Like, I mean, they get under my skin in a way that I can't explain it, but like it's a level of tilt that I truly don't have control over. It's like the Hulk type of tilt.
Oh, of course. Anybody that plays hands feels the same way.
Yeah. I just turn green. My shirt rips. You know,
just want them to like fold and like it's come. You want to like bully them. You know,
So
a lot of bullying going on.
Here's what I've come to understand.
Mate, that's bullying.
Here's what I've come to understand. If you let them control the pace of the hand, you're fucked. Because it doesn't matter how high up in range you are, they're always just going to have you pipped if money's going in. Right? So like it doesn't behoove you to like try to trap them or like have a really, really good hand, because if you aggressively end up putting money in, they just fold. And if you're forced to now call with like your absolute best hands, then they're either going to stop betting or they're going to have that beat. And that's a fucking nightmare. So what I've decided is I'm going to give the nits a little bit of crumbs in order to absolutely crush their spirits. And this is how this ends up happening. So here's the preface to it all. I get a text 2 days ago that there's a few recreationals coming and they're going to need my seat shortly. So I figure I have 15 to 20 minutes and I am up like 20K. My guy just sits down and I know that he's just fucking uber lockdown. But he's also super what's the word? Like he's very aware of his image. He's image aware, right? So his very first hand that he puts money in the pot, he opens, 4 people call. I squeeze to like 3K. We're playing 1-2. I squeeze like 3K from the small blind. Comes to him and he makes it 11,000. And we're 50K effective. He covers me. Maybe we're like, yeah, we're 50K effective. So folds back to me and it's like easy fold, right? Gotta be an easy fold.
No, fuck his
Easy
face.
So I decide I'm not folding. I also decide I don't really want to jam here. Because like it just makes his life too easy.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna trust my gut that if he has a really good hand, he'll just put in a bunch of money after the flop, and I'll find a way out. But if I catch him like in mid range somehow, where like he just has the ace queen for whatever, because it's me, and fuck me. Or if he, for whatever God unknown reason, has the 7 deuce, you know, like we're just going to get him. So it comes 10-8, 4, 1 club. So I flopped nothing.
There's a reason your hand is not mentioned yet.
I have ace 5 of clubs. I mentioned it.
Did he?
I don't think you did.
It didn't.
Oh,
But it's
okay. I thought
Go on.
oh, okay. When I said easy fold, I was of the mind that I had
Ace
already
5 of
mentioned
clubs,
it.
huh?
Yeah. So I would fold. I mean, against any normal person for a fifth of my stack, this is a pretty easy
Sure.
fold. But I call. 10-8, 4, rainbow, 1 club. I obviously have nothing. I check, and he bets like 15%. And now I just know
The wheels
he
are
doesn't have
turning.
anything. Sorry, it's 2 diamonds and 1 club, by the way. So now I just know he doesn't have anything. And my instinct is just jam, bro. Just jam. Like, put him in the cage and just jam and then show it to him. And then I'm like, but what if he has like ace queen or ace king of diamonds? That would just be a travesty. Let's see a turn. So I call.
Good call.
Turn.
Reverse float.
Right. Turn, offsuit jack. And I'm like, okay, this is the defining card. If he bets again, obviously we just have a clear give up. But otherwise, like, we might fucking get him here. He checks back. I'm like, we're all in. Should just shove dark.
Shove dark.
But I got to fade the queen, you know?
Of course.
River, second worst card in the deck, 9 of diamonds. So now 7 deuce got there, the flush got there, ace queen got there. Queens, if for whatever reason he has them, are there.
Or if he has any backdoor flush draws.
Oh, it was front door.
Right.
I
so
have the
if
back
you,
door.
Yeah, so if he had like ace whatever, he can't have that because you
I
have
it. Yeah.
Right, so bad future bluff with this.
Very bad. 0 bluffs. I mean, my hand should never even be here, but like never. I'm all in.
Yeah. This is why I love 5%.
I'm all in. He snap folds.
Yeah, I got him.
I try to table it, and the 5 sticks, right? It like sticks face down. So I table the ace of clubs, and everybody's like waiting with bated breath to like see the queen, you know? And I try to roll it over again, it sticks again, and then finally I like laboriously like rip over the 5 of clubs, and he goes, "You had the best hand."
I was waiting for that part.
Impossible. That's absolutely impossible.
But wait, so the board is go on?
The final board was 10-8, 4, jack 9.
Oh wow.
3 diamonds.
Wow. I was gonna say, king queen no good for you.
We're real spicy here.
Yeah.
What hand could he actually say you have the best hand? Ace deuce?
Like just dust ball.
I think he had to have had.
It was like king deuce suited or something. That's what he's saying.
Well, yeah, but I think he might have like actually had 7 deuce and just turbo folded it, not even thinking about having the low end of the straight there.
Really?
Just because like I have so many flushes and queen X.
Not when he
range.
says you had the best hand though.
Yeah.
Well, what else is he gonna say? Actually, you know what?
5, 6
He
o'clock.
probably had ace king. Actually, he probably just had exactly ace king.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
As in he's just mad that you bluffed him, but saying you had the best
Yeah.
hand.
Obviously, I can never. It's actually impossible.
Impossible for him to have
He
the best
can't-
hand.
There's no combination of net 4 bets here that allow ace 5.
There's no 6-5 suited or whatever.
Right. It's
You
just-
didn't dominate him.
No, it's just it's probably impossible.
Look, you had a plan. You stuck to the plan.
Exactly.
And the plan succeeded.
He checked, so we're all in.
Maybe he said "fuck your face" pre-flop.
He might have, but like with what?
6-5 suited.
It still made a pair. Whatever it was, it made a pair.
The
Unless it was
Human
exactly
Torch.
6-5.
The Human Torch, the only one.
He torched it.
So this then led to our confrontation yesterday, where I soul rolled. You know, I rolled with my soul, if you will.
Okay.
I folded to him on the button, and I had just made a decision. I had position on him all day. I was like, if he actively puts money in the pot, I'm always just going to 3-bet. Like, no matter what, if I play my hand, I'm going to 3-bet. Otherwise, I'm just going to fold, because it allows me to leverage position and put him into a bluff catching node instead of just giving him the availability to like have value and bet it multiple times, making me fucking guess when I have like top pair, top kicker type shit. So like there was a hand prior where he opened, I 3-bet 5s, he called, it came like king 10 for two diamonds. I had 5s with the 5 of diamonds. He checks, I bet, he calls, turn is a brick, check. River's another brick, he checks, I check down, he has top set of kings. And I'm like, this is fine by me. Like, I'm into this fucking plan right here.
Yeah.
So now he opens the button and it folds me in the small blind. I look at 6-4, or the big blind, I look at 6-4 off, and I go, this gets in there sometimes. So I just roll with my soul, and we hit him with the big 3-bet. He calls. It comes king 4-4, as it should.
All right.
I bet.
Jack Reed.
I bet 40%. He calls. Turn is a brick, bringing backdoor hearts. I bet pot, which is like 8K, I think. 22,000. And now
you're scared.
no, like that's the thing. It's like I'm just confused because like I know I have the best hand or I'm dead.
Or it's king. Yeah,
exactly.
It's king.
Yeah. So I know I absolutely like it's never ace 4
There's
here.
no middle.
There's no. I just know I have the best hand or I'm stone dead.
You have to call.
So the only way to play this is like for max value with whatever line you take. But with all of that being said, I don't know how to extract any more value from the hands that I'm not just dead against.
You can't.
Right. I have to hope he falls through river.
Yes.
That's just it.
Yeah.
So I call.
That's the whole idea of like being polar.
Right. Yeah, of course. But like, I have a hand that could be polar.
Well, you're fucked if you get continued if you click it though.
Maybe he has hearts. I don't know. So the river's a 5. I think he just had a king. I think he just had a king and wanted to buy showdown.
That's possible, but then that means
in which case, like
merged value, so you should click the flop.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So now I should just make it like 32,000.
Yeah,
34,000, something like that. Yeah, I think it's a thing.
You look
because I'm gonna die versus kings anyway. Like, what am I gonna do? I check river and he bets like 25,000. I'm not jamming for my remaining 40. Like, of course I am. Right,
listen,
so
man,
like,
this is your world.
Yeah,
make your own rules.
I just called. Obviously, the river's offsuit 5, and it goes check. And
the fact that you have to be forced here is absurd.
6-4 gets in there a little bit, man.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. I think it's in there for a little small mark, like 5% of the time.
When you're soul rolling, anything's in there, baby.
I'm being genuinely honest. 6-4 offsuit gets in there a little smidge.
Stop it. This was like when I was studying for Heads Up with Chewy, and I got 7-6 off, and we've deemed that hand the midnight special.
Okay.
So you just sometimes that gets in there as a 3-bet. Ready to midnight special. Like 6-7, reasonable. 6-4,
10-6 off. 3 bets in that spot like 30% of the time.
you're like a billion deep, right?
Like 300.
There's a 10 and a 6 offsuit.
It does. That genuinely gets in there.
I need to see this.
Look at ante ranges. I promise you, 10-6 off is a 3-bet versus button.
What percent?
I think I might be a little on the high side with 30. 30. I think it's more like 10.
If you said like 5, I'd be like, this is probably just like a convergence error.
No.
You know,
it's not.
If you run it down a little bit.
No, the 10-6 is utilized. Same thing with heads-up ranges. Like 10-6 off is one of the go-tos.
It's a big hand.
I'm just
6,
telling
7,
you,
8,
man.
9, 10. Never see that stack again.
I'm obviously lying about the frequencies.
I get
it's
this.
much lower. It's between 5 and 10, but 30 is reasonable to me.
Anyways, you had 3 4s.
Honestly,
you beat
the
him.
10-6 off, like, because I know that it 3-bets, like, I know that it's a 3-bet versus.
That means when you know it's a 3-bet, that means I know I'm going to do this exactly when I want to, whenever I want to.
That's exactly
That's what it means.
That's exactly
It doesn't mean 30%. It doesn't mean 3 times out of 10. It doesn't mean 30 times out of 100.
Every time I see a weak button, it's just like, oh, this 3-bets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pile it in.
I'm waiting to see the 10-6 off. I'm waiting.
Anytime the F8F comes in, you got to do it. Fuck his face.
It's worth a lot. There's a lot of equity.
I guess you can't flat the 6-4 on the turn versus raise anymore. You got to click it up.
I think you got to click it there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put
I
the
don't
money
know
in
for sure that
anyway.
he had a king. He honestly, the thing is, like, the way these nits play, he might have had 10s.
You might have been bluffing though.
Whoa.
I don't think.
Nit spaz?
I think it was like a nit spaz.
That happens a lot.
I think it was Berkey's an idiot. I could just have the best hand with 9s, and I don't want to call twice.
Well, he wasn't wrong. You had 6-4.
I mean,
I bet twice, motherfucker.
all of these words make it seem like you should just like min click the turn. Yeah.
It's a thing I've been doing a lot.
You've
Honestly,
got a fantasy hand.
I can assure you,
nowhere spot. You have a joker in your hand. Like,
I can assure you, when you guys finally get to watch the Blez and I heads-up match, you'll see. I bet I do this at least once a day over the next 2 days, if not multiple times. Just because I've been playing Ring with him, and I've found myself doing it against him in Ring, where he makes these like weird, mergy, don't make any goddamn sense turn raises in a situation. Like, the 2 times I've clicked on him, I've like had it. So it makes even less sense. It's like, well, I have, the nut, and you're clicking on me. So I just like, hit him with the dead min click back and he finds folds, which means that I also can just do this as bluff.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like there's going to be a situation where it's like we're both supposed to be polarizing and we're both completely depolar, just in there mixing it up with the 2 overs and a gut shot versus a backdoor flush draw.
I'm so mad this isn't streamed.
I'm so happy.
I'm so mad.
So this is going to be edited down for like some of the best hands.
I think they show everything.
I hope they show everything.
In the
It's like
Antonius match, they showed.
edit.
Yeah, it's really just a delay.
They played just the dual format, right?
Correct.
He and Bleznick.
Yeah, they played a 50K, 100K, and then 150K. No. 200K.
Okay, and you're
He beat him
just
out of 350.
there's no duels here. This is just playing cash for the stream.
Duel to the death, baby.
For the boys, for the PokerGo, for the. All right.
This is a heads up.
This is today,
cash
tomorrow.
match.
Real
Yeah.
blood game.
Yeah.
You just kind of doing it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I wish I could explain. I wish I could explain to everybody like the feeling I get. Like, very rarely have I felt any level of nerves the way I used to when I would pitch on game day. But something about heads up, I think it's that like because I know so little. Same thing with like MTT final tables. I would say MTT final tables or like day 3s and any sort of heads up like match, particularly one that's going to be streamed. I have like the worst anxiety and like fear and self-doubt, and
That's because
all of
mistakes
these-
are punished the most. Kind of. Like when you were pitching, every fucking fastball you set down over the middle went straight over the gate.
That's true. That's actually very factual.
Every mistake that you make in a day 3 or a final table or heads up, the money goes to the other person.
Like I knew I didn't throw 90.
Yeah.
But I also knew that I was a quote unquote power pitcher in my head. And those two things are at odds. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I know I don't know how to play heads up, but I also know that like I'm a poker player and a high stakes gambler in my head and heart.
Power pitcher.
And also like I'm a power poker player. But also like it's the same thing with Blez, right? Like he's very good at at PLO, and he's very talented at PLO, and
He's just a good gambler.
Yeah, he's very good at Hold'em, but he's not polished in either.
Apparently, he was playing Omaha for Rolls, like PLO legend.
I watched some of it
on online, and like someone told me like this might be the same guy that goes out and beats Laszlo, but says like, "Man, I don't want to play Matt. He's got my number." And
Bro,
like he's just right.
Legit, yeah. And I hope that like, because I think that we're like on the same wavelength. Like I think that's actually what makes this a more fair match, is that neither of us have studied, neither of us have put in like work to get refined at heads up. We're not going to be crisp in the nodes. You're going to watch this and it's going to look like people throwing poo at one another. But what's actually happening?
Can't wait for Doug Polk's video.
He doesn't have time for it. He's a kid now. But what's actually happening is like this sort of like meta game where like I'm confident there are going to be some bluff catches in this that are just going to be horror shows.
Like Stone Zeros,
like just like bottom 2 in PLO where you have no blockers to the nuts and you just look him in the face. You're just like, I'm very suspicious of what you're doing right now. And I'm going to pay. I'm just going to pay, and we're going to move on and see what actually happens.
I'm really excited to watch this, actually.
There is a level of excitement because like we're getting to gamble for high stakes. Like
you have no idea when it comes out though.
It airs
a week or two.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you when it aired.
Oh yeah, like
so
a week
you play
or two.
today, tomorrow, and it comes out next week?
Maybe 2. I just know it comes out before the
Stay
squid.
tuned.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I
Like,
don't fucking run the behind the scenes of PokerGo. Ask Hanks.
I don't know if they told you, like, hey, like, you're
Well, they
playing.
don't know either.
Yeah,
you know, like they're.
He also
fine.
didn't
They're busy
ask.
worrying about the Bills losing.
Right.
It's all heartbreak.
He also didn't ask.
Hanks called in.
He doesn't care.
sick. Yeah, I don't care when it comes out. If it's not live, I don't care when it comes out.
Hank's
Yeah.
called in sick for life.
But yeah, like whenever the Squid Games come up and I have the opportunity to play those, it's like I only feel excitement there. I don't feel the angst. I don't feel the worry or the level of like self doubt, because it's just
angst?
like with like Squid, I just know how to gamble. It's like I know really well how to gamble within the framework of that game, and I'm also just like good at no limit hold'em ring. So like, how much of a loss in any reasonable lineup that I agree to play could I ever be taking? Probably not much. So it's like whatever. You don't have the self doubt reoccur throughout the session, right? Like at no point throughout the squids did I feel inclined to like start sending you a bunch of hand histories and just be like, do you think this was okay?
I don't give a shite, mate.
But like playing heads up, that's all I know I'm gonna have the urge to just like even sending you guys PLO hands where it's like I don't fucking know, I don't play this game either. But it's just gonna be like I'm gonna be so uncertain. And
you feel like lost in hand and not know
no,
what
you're
to
fine.
do.
We have to Oracle Sam Laskowitz in the chat.
If you were
That's
to
true.
send fucking Squid Game hand histories to Landon, it would just be more tilting that you have to explain that fucking people are standing and like whatever. This many people have buttons
when you
and like,
write
you're
it for
gambling.
him, when you write it for
No.
him, it's okay.
When you write it, it's easy. If you speak, it does not work.
Yeah, it doesn't register.
If you speak, you're in big trouble.
It doesn't register.
It's so much easier to read.
Landon's a quick study. On day 1 of him playing Squid on Poker Out Loud, he folded Jack 7 while heads up in the stand-up in the big blind. And then by day 3, he was yeeting it with King 10 off for 600 bigs.
You have to
Very
start.
quick study.
You have to start the pendulum somewhere.
Right.
You got punished a couple times, and then you were like, okay, I understand. This is not good for me. We have to gamble.
Hunt kept limping. Stop limping. I don't like this. I don't want to play a game that's limping.
Limping fucks in the Squid.
funny.
I know it was pimping.
It is pimping.
Stop pimping.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm scared.
Screaming,
I'm
crying, throwing
unstudied. I really wish I would have had more time. And I know that like that's what's gonna make this fun for the viewer is that neither of us put in any work. But like for my own peace of mind, I wish I would have had like at least an extra week to kind of just sit down, revisit the ranges. Like
Man.
I don't even remember the sizing schemes that we used. I'm just gonna be out here fucking yeeting.
I don't know if this is wrong or not. I guess like the way I see this is you're playing for 2 days, not very many hands. Like it's very hard for someone to be quote unquote taking a bath.
Well, yeah, a lot of
You
it comes
know?
down to distribution.
It's
and
like you sun around
who
the
gets up.
guy,
Yeah,
he sun around you.
but if you get sun ran on, like you can lose a lot,
yeah.
a lot,
They're
and
probably on
a
the hook.
lot of it comes from leaking. You know, like being out of range instruction or taking aggressive action with hands that don't do that.
It probably mostly comes in like 3 and 4 bet pots, I would imagine, because like you're playing pretty deep where that's how the stack goes in. Like it's hard to make like a
Yeah.
big mistake in a single raise pot. Like there's 3 bigs in the middle and you block river.
I
You see
do
what I'm saying?
expect. I would expect in both games for me to play more of the 3-bet pots in position than out. I have a feeling, because I don't know preflop ranges at all for PLO, so my gut is that I'll be way too tight on the 3-bet side.
Like you're just going to be calling too much instead of playing a 3-bets out of position.
Yeah, like I just don't know. I don't have any vision over like what the grid looks like, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I know I 3-bet aces and I know I 3-bet double suited rundowns. Like we can start there.
Pretty cards.
Yeah, pretty basically, yeah. If the hand looks nice, I'm gonna 3-bet. In Hold'em, I know what the 3-bet range is, and I'll adhere to it pretty well.
10-6 off.
Right. Only small frequency, but I would suspect
The first time you get 10-6 off, you're 3-betting it.
if
for
I
sure.
if I maybe if I had to guess like what Blez's 3-bet frequency will be in Hold'em, I bet it's gonna be like between 20 and 25%. Especially if he's stuck. If he's winning, it might only be like 8%.
The only thing I know very little, and it might not be true even, is like in PLO, you don't really fold too many 3-bets. Right?
Got 4 cards. Hell no.
You fold, I think you would fold like a lot of your Badoogie hands.
That's what I mean. Like you
Yeah.
fold like very, very little,
Yeah.
but you mostly just always call.
Yeah.
No limit is like kind of opposite.
I'll fold quads.
You don't fold that much. You fold like maybe 10% of your opening range.
No.
Oh, no, you're right, because you fold all the offsuit stuff.
Hey, you're playing heads up.
Yeah.
And even if you're
right.
playing ring, like you fold a lot versus
That's
3-bet.
right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that
You maybe don't fold a lot versus 3-bet.
No. Like you literally open deck with ante, and then you fold probably like 35.
You're like, you 3-bet. You got it. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
pushback. You play with the ante?
Right, but yeah. But for both of us, I think we're too sticky versus 3-bets, so like I think that will lower the frequency some.
That's why it's going to be great TV.
Godspeed.
Can't wait.
I just
What do you think the standard deviation is probably the wrong word? How much do you think you're on the hook for like the worst losing session here?
if I lose 500
Or anybody, either way.
if I lose 500, the white flag is pretty likely to come out.
What do you think on his side?
Maybe limitless. Maybe limitless. I mean, he's a lot richer than me.
So he can only win 500. You can win infinity. Sounds like a good deal for you.
It's true. That is true. Hopefully the guys at PokerGo understand that I'll have to adhere to some level of stop loss. But after watching Rampage storm off of the set over and over and over again after losing 40K, I feel like if I lose 500, I've earned it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I could just be like,
Classic
hey,
throw off. Yeah.
white flag, enough's enough. You got me.
You're going to bring a white flag just in case?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, absolutely not. All right, let's pray and let's get to the lead story that turned out not to be the lead. We buried it. KrissyB returns to the winner's circle. Congratulations
Chrissy
to
F.
Right. Oh, the moniker stays.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Kristen Foxen, I guess she goes by now that she's more mature in her demure married life.
Mindful.
Very mindful. So this was event 5, the 10K. This was the final event, yeah?
Yeah.
She wins this for 197,000.
Congrats.
Beating maybe one of the toughest final tables of all time with one Jeremy Osmus getting 4th. You know, I mean, if he's there, it's tough.
He's there, beware.
That's true. So this is the first that I think she's gotten back in the Go studio in a while, right? Like wasn't there a long period she took off because of some conflict with taxes in Canada?
I know about how hard it is with taxes in Canada, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's like a huge, I mean, this is a sidebar, but apparently there's
New
like
lead story.
there's been like a huge crackdown within the last handful of years in Canada where they're trying to get professional tournament players to pay on their gross rather than on their net.
They just swipe I think it's
What?
30% immediately or something along those lines?
They withhold. We have a
That's
tax treaty with them. So like if you win money here, 30% is held, and then it's on you to try to get it back when you go to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Totally outside of that though. They're like retroactively going after professional poker players, basically like pointing to their Hendon mob saying like, oh, it says you won 50 million.
Where's my
God.
money?
You only paid us on 3. What the fuck?
That's insane.
Where's our money?
You
And
get
like,
free healthcare.
right.
So
Right.
what about the times that I lose money?
They're gonna start taxing cash game players on unrealized gains.
In
Yeah.
Canada,
You win a pot, got to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. There was there was somewhere that was literally trying to do that. Man,
In poker?
Yeah, somebody just brought this up at the table the other day because we were
No
talking
way.
about
do that.
we were talking about the Goldstein thing, and I don't know if it was maybe in reference to that, where they were trying to like pin him for evading more than he actually did, or if it was a sidebar where somebody said, "Oh yeah, well over in X country, the way that they do it is they like for online they tried to tax somebody based off of every pot that he had ever won."
Oh Jesus!
So rather than netting everything out, they're just grossing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you've won $375 million.
Yeah.
Where's our money? And the guy's like, buddy, I'm breaking
Yeah, I'm
even
down.
with the rate.
Right. What are you talking
I've
about?
won $7.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about. And like, you know, this is the thing. Like I mentioned last year, the volume that I put in at high stakes, my bottom line was very, very meager by my standards, and I think I had gambled with like $30 million.
Right.
So it's like you're
Yeah, it's just
hopeful.
volume, right?
Yeah, you're like hopeful to win like a couple percent of the amount of volume that you put into play.
Right.
I don't think people really grasp that fully.
Right.
It's a tough concept, you know.
Yeah.
So-
Imagine if you had to pay taxes on every sale that you had. Like if you
mean
own
for
a
crypto?
business. No, if
Oh.
you own a business, and then like you sell a product, and then when you sell it, you have to pay like the full amount of tax on that exact whatever revenue you get, essentially.
Isn't that kind of part of the reason why sales tax exists? Because like, isn't that actually what you're doing for the state?
I mean, when you buy something, you pay sales tax.
Right, but are you paying the sales tax to the company in order to? Doesn't that just like, you know, pass from one person to the next? So from consumer to seller, from seller to government? Like that sales tax doesn't go straight to the government, does it?
Yeah.
It does. So it's like the vendor who actually is paying the sales tax to the government,
Right.
not the
No.
the consumer.
Right. It's coming out of the consumer's pocket. I'm asking who actually facilitates
Right.
the payment. It would be the vendor. It would be like the store,
Yeah, maybe.
right? Like if you go to
Right.
Kmart, they pay all their sales tax to the government. Does Kmart still exist?
Yeah, I think so. I
What
don't know
about
why
I
Caldor?
thought it was funny that that's what you went with.
When I was a kid, Kmart was
Yeah,
fucking
same.
popping.
Man.
I remember
Yeah.
layaway.
Did
at
you guys have
Kmart.
Caldors?
I don't know what Caldors is.
It was like Kmart basically.
Kmart, yes, they had layaway. I believe I still have a Nintendo 64. If Kmart still exists, the one in Hyde Park Tavern or Hyde Park, whatever, back home. If my N64 is still on layaway, I would like to pick that up.
Yeah.
It's been there since Christmas 1996.
Probably worth a lot of money if it's still wrapped up.
I bet it's not.
I bet you it is.
Really?
Yes.
They love that vintage shit?
Well, if it's like still wrapped up, like factory sealed, those
Yeah.
go for decent coin.
That seems crazy to me.
Legend of Zelda video game sold for a lot of money.
Great fucking game, man. Great fucking game. Oh yeah, somebody said, hey Berkey, remember Hills? They had the pretzels.
Of course.
They
Yes.
had the little pretzel bar
Mm-hmm.
in the lobby. First thing you smelled the second you walked in.
Oh, so good.
It wasn't good though. That's the thing. it was good compared to like not having a pretzel.
What are you talking
But it wasn't
about?
Annie Ann's.
No.
You know, we weren't getting that fancy schmancy
No.
airport shit.
No.
You know, we weren't getting these buttery pretzels.
Right. This pretzel got a few sprinkles of salt
Yeah.
on it.
We were getting oversized cafeteria pretzel.
What was that drink that like it was like red and
Slushies.
it was like a
Oh
slushy
yeah.
like.
Oh, it was
But
disgusting.
it had
It was
I think it had a
Coca-Cola.
name to it. Was it?
Yeah.
Ices?
Ices, yes. It was an icy.
Hills is where the toys are.
Hills is where there was a commercial.
Yes.
Was Hills a national brand?
No.
No.
No, I don't
Had to be a
think so.
Pittsburgh brand. Right?
Pittsburgh,
18K?
probably like the
Hills
tri-state
is where
area.
the toys
Yeah.
are. Yeah, for Christmas I would always get the Hills paper and I would circle the toys that I want and they never came.
Fucking Santa.
Yeah, that goddamn sale. $17,000
What?
for an
18.
original Zelda?
18,000.
Why?
Oh, man.
Why?
Probably still in its cover.
What do you
Still in
mean?
its
No,
case.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying. It's
yeah, but who
factory sealed.
cares?
What do you mean why? It's cool,
because
man.
it's those things just because it's rare. It's very that when things are rare and people there's a demand for them. There's the price.
Wait, like
Jumps.
the game?
But if you're not going to play it and it's just going to
It's not. It's a collector's edition, Bert.
I hate people.
Are you talking Nintendo 64?
Some people paid like
Oh, we're
like,
all the way back on the original.
like 3,000 ETH for a fucking bored ape.
Different.
Yeah, right. No, it's not. It's
That
the
shit
same
was
thing.
cool as fuck. Okay.
True.
I had a mutant and we sold it for a lot.
Good.
But we
for
sold
you.
it when ETH went way down.
At least you like sold it probably before it really bottomed out.
No, we did really. We sold it before the Nazi lore that was attached to Bored Ape.
Really?
I don't know if you heard about this. There was like a long documentary about how BAC was actually like
How their hearts went out to someone.
yeah. How I don't remember the long and short of it. I just know that I had a BAC or I had a Mutant Ape t-shirt and I stopped wearing it. I didn't want to be affiliated just
Right.
in case something was true.
Right.
They came out like, oh, your shirt's here. Look at that.
It's a great shirt. Fits really well. You know, really awesome
You
material.
got to make your choices.
I know, but maybe inside out. I might go inside out. Might have to go
Get
inside
black tape or something.
out. Yeah. All right. I got to get out of here. I got to get down to the studio. Congratulations again to Krissy. Hopefully I can do just about the same here
Per
when I
day.
get down here. I'll be happy with 200 over 2 days.
That works.
I'm not going to complain.
It's the same way as PokerGO works.
That is the same way. You're right. That's going to do it for us today. We're going to be back same time tomorrow. I'll be able to give you a recap of day one. That's going to be the majority of it. We're going to be joined by one Jesse Sylvia, who is always going to bring the setup a little bit on the look side of things and maybe a little bit on the min click strategy. That's going to do it for us. Noon tomorrow. We'll see you guys all then.
Later,
Peace.
squad.
Peace.